This is your local news. As you can see behind me, I am at a protest for the new topic of America. Should English be our national language?
Hi, I'm Novel and Skym. The government of the United States should not mandate English as a national language. The purpose of government is to promote the general welfare. The government's job is to take care of and protect the well-being of its citizens.
I believe that the U.S. government should mandate English as our national language. This would be better for the common good because the non-English speakers would give up something to better the community. This is a federal issue because the states would not decide whether we would have a national language. The Congress, members of Congress, and the House of Representatives would decide this issue.
A national language would make it much more difficult, maybe even impossible, for people who might not have a very strong command of the language to find or keep a job.
Actually, immigrants would have more jobs if they learned our national language because some jobs require English as a language, which therefore might get them more money so they could do more with their lives.
The United States is required by law under the Voting Rights Act to provide ballots in other languages when there is a sizable population of citizens who do not speak English as their primary language. Making English the national language wouldn't save the United States money when printing ballots, since they're required to provide them in other languages anyway.
I can see what you're saying, Novelin, but actually, research proves that since we don't have to print off ballots and the constitutions or official documents in different languages to accommodate everybody, we would actually save money. Research proves that 85% of non-Hispanic whites are registered to vote, whereas Hispanics are about 51% are registered to vote. Maybe if everybody spoke one language and we had a national language, maybe that would bring up the voting percentages.
The core democratic value equality states that all citizens have a right to social equality. There should be no class hierarchy sanctioned by the law. Everyone is supposed to be equal. A national language would create a greater social class difference between white Americans who speak English and immigrants who aren't proficient in English.
The core democratic value of this issue is common good. Common good is to promote the welfare of the community and work together with other members for the greater benefit of all.
The core democratic value diversity states that differences in culture, ethnic background, race, lifestyle, and belief is beneficial to society. Differences in language should not only be okay, it should be encouraged. The English language is not at risk. According to IUSA.org, English is the most widespread language in the world. It's more widely written and spoken than any other language. 3/4 of the world's mail is in English, and more than half of the world's technical and scientific periodicals are in English. By the year 2000, over 1 billion people were studying English. The British Council estimates that over 750 million people speak English as a second language. English doesn't need to be made a national language because it is already predominant in the United States. Mandating English as a national language would inhibit illiteracy and expand poverty in immigrant communities. ESL classes are not cheap, and immigrants just starting out in the United States cannot afford these classes.
If English was our national language, it would encourage immigrants to learn the language of their country, which they should because they're moving here and adopting this country, so they should know the official language.
Well, Jade, I understand your point that making English the national language might encourage immigrants to learn English, but it would actually be harmful to those who are learning English. Especially in the area of healthcare, this law would prevent people who aren't proficient in English from getting proper care, because institutions that were previously bilingual would no longer be able to serve them properly. This is the map of the United States that shows leading languages spoken at home other than English. The tan represents Spanish, the dark blue represents German, red is Native American, and the light blue is French. The United States has high populations of many languages other than English, so making just English the national language of the United States wouldn't really make sense.
As you can see in this political cartoon, more languages are spoken than English. This may cause some confusion in our government. Would we want a simple mistake made because somebody didn't understand a language? No, I don't think so.